Welcome to Chakra Chats with Patty Kikos. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm very excited to introduce you to my wonderful friend Heather Porter. Hello, Heather.
Hello, Patty Cakes.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm very, very well. Thanks for having me on your show.
I'm so excited about the questions I'm going to ask you.
Me too. It's going to bring out some old memories for sure.
Yeah, quite likely, quite likely. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that don't know Heather, she has promoted and managed events in over 25 countries for her own music and art production company and for some of the world's most well-known speakers such as Anthony Robbins. She then co-founded the Billionaire Adventure Club, where she connected entrepreneurs with mentors and worked with top charities such as Richard Branson's School of Entrepreneurship and Madonna's Raising Malawi. In the midst of all her traveling, she relocated to Sydney from California and began consulting as an online strategist to build systems for the speakers and entrepreneurs who crossed her path. And I'm very lucky to have been one of them, actually. In 2010, she co-founded the digital marketing and publishing agency Autopilot Your Business, which specializes in automating businesses online. She is also a trainer for the Digital Traffic Institute, co-host of a marketing podcast with fans in over 80 countries, a #1 Amazon bestseller, and co-author of 4 business books. She regularly speaks on topics from social media to business automation. I feel very blessed to have Heather as part of the Chakra Chat series, specifically because I think she has some incredible tips to share with us regarding the energy center that helps us with our communication and our expression.
Wow. It always sounds amazing when you hear yourself on paper.
You are very impressive. You are very impressive. And the thing is, I've edited it because so much of what you do is going to come up in our chat as well. So there's more I could have said just quietly.
Oh, cool. Well, thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Well, I wanted to chat to you today because I believe that not only do you embody the balanced archetype of this chakra, I also love the stories that you share about your lessons around speaking your truth that you've learned along your path. And you now run a very successful and thriving business, and I'm constantly inspired by your very soulful and very authentic approach to your life.
Thank you, Patty. Yeah, look, I think being surrounded by speakers such as Tony Robbins and these really big names, the thing that I learned was to not try and play copycat. A long time.
Yeah.
A lot of people go through their courses because a big part of that sort of personal development industry is a lot of people go through the courses and then they want to be the next Tony Robbins or the next Oprah, you know?
Yes.
And then instead of actually trying to be themselves, that's exactly what they want to be, the next Tony or the next Oprah.
Yeah.
So being around that, I always thought, oh, am I supposed to behave a certain way? And after a while, I just thought, no, I am who I am, and that's who I am. I'm just going to, be myself. So
that's the gift of this energy center as well, as you know, your truth. Because if you're not vibrating with the true frequency of your truth, you're really going to be out of alignment with your natural resonance, aren't you?
Very much so. And obviously, like most of us, I've come in and out. There's ebbs and flows of that. There's definitely moments in my life, like just literally last weekend when I was speaking on stage in front of 140 entrepreneurs. And I got off stage and I was on stage for about 6 hours. And one of them came up to me and they said, how do you do that? Like, how do you just stand up there and have a chat? Because it's literally what you were doing. I said, because I learned a while ago that that's all you need to do is just when you're communicating, just be yourself.
Yeah. And remember that story I shared with you because I was speaking the next day and mentioned you in conversation. Right. And then someone that happened to be on my table said, oh my God, she spoke yesterday. She's amazing. And I thought, yes, synchronistic. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Well, you and I have bonded over our shared love of supporting entrepreneurs, speaking at events, as well as Kundalini Yoga.
Yes.
And you've had an amazing career that initially began with a very different intention. Can you tell us a little bit about your fabulous journey? I love hearing this story.
Wow, yes. Well, when I was starting out in the work world, I was going to San Diego State University to get a business degree. And while I was doing that, I started up my own production company where I basically was worked with my boyfriend at the time, and we had an art, fashion, and music events company. So we brought together local musicians and fashion designers and artists, and we put on these sort of elaborate events in
So you
nightclubs.
started an event company while you were still studying at university.
Yes.
You didn't even have your
Yes, I did.
degree. Yeah.
Yes,
and
I
you
did.
started an events company. Amazing.
Yeah, I'm a bit obsessive. I don't know. Yeah. I kind of never shut off. That's probably another chakra issue. So, yeah, that started way back then. So anyway, I was doing that. And then while I graduated, I got an international business degree, and I saw an ad in the newspaper. So this was back before Seek.com or LinkedIn. I saw an ad and it said, Robbins Research International. And I was thinking, cool, it's international. So I needed, I had this little fledgling business. It wasn't going to pay me. So then what I needed to survive. So I went out and got an interview. And I remember I got hired initially for IT. And I was sitting there in the office during the whole hiring process, and they put this video on TV, and they're like, we want you to meet your new boss. I'm like, cool. And then this man named Tony Robbins walks up on screen. I was probably one of 5% of the employees ever hired in the company that had no idea who this man was, because everyone knew him and then wanted to work for him. So it's kind of different. So that started my process working with speakers. It was initially in IT. And then, of course, a couple of the events girls that ran his events came to some of my events. They said, what are you doing in IT? And they brought me across into his events production department. And that's where I started to really work in the big scale seminars, running teams of crew, running events. And that's how I initially started.
So 2 questions. How old were you and what were you doing in IT back then for him?
Yeah, good question. Gosh, what was I? I was probably around 24 when I was starting that. And the reason why IT is because when I was running my own production company, I self-taught myself websites and website design and online. Back in the day, when we didn't have WordPress and some of the cool tools that were out there yet. So it was in the late 90s.
So you learned to code CSS, is that right?
I used a tool called Dreamweaver, which was
God, which is even more complex. Who are you? So you ran your own company, you had your own company, and then because you weren't busy enough studying and getting a degree, you decided to teach yourself coding. Who are you?
Yes, I do remember staying up till 10 o'clock, 12 p.m. at night, moonlighting with my own business. I don't know, crazy, huh?
Amazing.
But that's what I was doing. So I got all of our artists that we were kind of representing onto a website, and I really liked it. So that's why I went into IT initially, is because I wanted to understand more about, intranets and websites and all that sort of stuff.